Yeah. Summer shandy.
It's 90 degrees in late September.
I got a long sleeve hoodie on.
That's insane for Iowa. That is insane.
Perfect taste in my mouth right now.
It is extremely good.
Colin and Joe P coming at you today. We are talking about what we have experienced, the problems, the difficulties, things that you should expect 3 months into a YouTube channel.
All right, guys, we're just gonna admit it. YouTube is hard. It was a lot harder than we first ever thought it could be. Why we're doing this right now, it's not because we know YouTube or we figured things out. It's because we're novices and we just went through it. If we shoot this video in a year, it's probably going to be completely different because we're not even going to remember our struggles from now versus a year from now. They're going to be completely different. So we wanted to get this on video recorded and maybe help someone out who's thinking about starting a YouTube channel.
So the first thing you have to know if you're starting a YouTube channel is that it is going to take 10 times more time than you actually think. If you think, I'll just take a couple minutes here and there and I'll be good with this YouTube channel and I'll hit the algorithm and I'll be rich. Bro, sit down and evaluate your life because you're spending a lot of time.
And you ain't making no money, so calm that ass down right now too. The time spent, and it's not just the time we spend at this desk, but it's figuring out creatively what you want to do with your time, how you want to make your YouTube videos, what do you even want to make, which way is your channel going. The time is it's all cumbersome to where you're like, oh my gosh, I got to go do all. I mean, it is another full-time job. Yeah, I 100% believe that.
I agree with you 100%, and I think that creativity, I think you kind of said it, but that takes time in itself to just sit there and stew upon ideas and think about ideas that are new and exciting and fun and cool to watch and whatever
Look at other people's YouTube channels and try to do something that they've done that could be pretty cool. I mean, all of that. It's tough.
It takes a lot of time. It is tough. It's doable. I mean, it's fun to do, and it's fun once you get rolling with it, but man, it's going to take you some time.
If you're not in it and like when you start your channel, if you don't have a certain amount of time, in my opinion, that you're willing to dedicate to it, don't start your channel. If you're like, I'm just going to start it and mess around with it, yeah, you can start it that way, but it's going to take you much longer. Write something down. Be like, hey, in 2 years, this is where we want to be. And that's kind of what Joe and I did. We're going to be 2 years out. We know it's going to be rough, but 2 years, give it 2 years, we'll see what happens.
Time. A lot of time. But the next most important thing is money. A lot of money. We've spent a lot of money. I mean,
a lot of money.
We've probably spent close to like 20 grand on this little situation of YouTube that we're going on. I mean, and it's the little things.
It's the little things.
You need the camera, you need the mic, you need the halo ring that you're looking at right now. You need those lights over there. You need some cool background.
That light right there we don't use.
That light we don't even use anymore.
A
couple
$165.
There you go. Use it. Didn't even use it. We got this carrying backpack. We got things that you can hold in different situations and different lighting. This table. I mean, you name it. It's gonna take you like, I didn't think I needed that. $200, $300, $500, $1,000.
$2,500 for the drone.
$2,500 for a drone.
And you're not even gonna know how to use it. We're not even certified to fly the drone. We can't. We got a drone. We can't fly.
Don't come after us.
We can't fly the drone. We don't fly it. We have a certified guy that does it for us. Thanks, Marky.
Yeah.
But he flies it for us.
Exactly. Yeah, and it just adds up. It's just like starting a business up. You know, I mean, there's going to be small things that add up that you're going to need to take into account of like, well, I want to spend $1,000. Boom, 10 grand.
Yeah. Well, and you can always, to be fair to the people that are going to write down in the comments, oh, you don't have to spend all that. You don't have to, but eventually you will have to. There's going to come a time where you need a certain amount of stuff and a certain amount of equipment that if you don't have it, I mean, you're never going to really truly make it. So you do have to spend some sort of money as you grow your YouTube channel and your audience and your fan base.
And money-wise too, you also need an easy platform to edit this video and stuff. So we bought a Mac. We got Final Cut Pro is what we use for editing software.
Forgot about the Mac.
Yep. I mean, that's another shit ton of money there too. I mean, we got the M1, which is the fastest processor you can get.
So fast.
So fast. The fastest I've ever seen or ever felt.
Yep.
And just the editing software in itself, that's a different video that we'll probably shoot a different time.
Yeah.
But man, does that take time to figure out. I mean, we're still not even halfway decent at it.
We don't even know how to, I mean, we just found out the new 2 3D styles on how to get cool graphics on there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know how to do it.
Yeah, but it's cool once you figure it out. If you have like a million years to press all the buttons.
Which we don't.
I would say like 4 hours a day consistently every single day, probably for the last 3.5 to 4 months. Colin and I have texted each other about random different ideas and creativity. If he watches a cool video, he sends it to me. I watch it, I'm like, that's cool, why don't we spin it this way? I mean, the creativity that really does entail, man, you need someone to bounce ideas off of too.
Well, not only to get ideas going, but then to make them happen. So then it takes all your creativity. Now you've actually got to go do the things that you were creative about, like the 10K challenge.
Yeah.
We can't express to you the amount of time it took to make that video. It's not even fair because it was 3 weeks of planning and then entire day of shooting and then a whole week of editing.
Yep.
And we still could have changed it because we still weren't even happy with the outcome, but that's what we had. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. We had to just throw the phone on the desk. The next that I think people are going to overlook, especially when making a YouTube channel, and you're going to probably think this is stupid because that's all YouTube is about, is talking in front of the camera while in public places.
Oh, yeah.
Here, it doesn't matter. Outside, when you're doing your thing and you feel good, it's all good. But when you go into a public place and you got to start speaking into the camera and you got to order food and you got to make sure that you're connecting with your audience.
I feel like the most awkward one is in the store. You're holding this camera that's facing you and you're walking down the aisle and there's two people that are staring at you and you got to talk about this rice that you're about to buy on the shelf. Like that's awkward if you make it awkward. You know what I'm saying? You got to get over that fear if you are planning on shooting some cool content.
For sure, absolutely. But if you're an egotistical douchebag, then it's not that awkward for you and you like it anyways. But we're learning how to how to be more douchey.
We're learning doctors.
You know. Next topic is you will mess up everything.
A lot. All the time.
Everything.
You name it.
Everything will go wrong.
Anywhere from not turning the mic on and filming for an entire day, or putting the SD card in and then deleting everything on the SD card that you just filmed for an entire day.
Yep.
Or, I mean, you name it, we've messed it up. It's doable and it's going to happen. You just got to roll with those punches because you are going to mess up.
Yep. And here's the thing is like you can practice and you can get ready and you can do these things, but you will not learn unless you start. You have to begin. This is why YouTube has the algorithm it has. This is why it takes so long, those watched hours and these other things to get monetized, because they want to know the people who are really in it to win it. You know, they don't want to know the people who are just here for a couple days and then now you get some ads thrown at you. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And any big person that's ever owned a business or ran a successful business will probably tell you something similar, is that you just have to do it knowing you're going to mess up. Yes. I mean, you could probably attest to that God. Did you know everything that you were going to do when you opened up CrossFit OC3?
Knew nothing.
Dude, no, I mean,
still don't.
You open up the doors and you say, well, let's freaking roll with it, man. You know, so this is the exact same thing, only now it's more technical with like computers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is the hard part too, is that if you do, I will say you will be ahead of the game if you know something about editing software, if you know something about just the general usage of the equipment, you're going to be light years ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, that doesn't give you the charisma and getting in front of the cameras and the creativity and actually going to go out and do these challenges that you have to do if you're a YouTube channel like ours is, but it is going to be a big leg up, because paying for someone to edit all your videos, paying for someone to sit here and do every video, that's going to cost you $50,000 a year. I mean, that's going to cost you a full-time salary to get someone here all the time.
And that'll be chump change here soon, you know. Absolutely. Of course, for us. You know,
we're just on the brink of already getting monetized. Just kidding. We're like a year away, if that's even a thing. Hopefully. I think we're further away than that.
You have got to be willing to change consistently. You got to be able to, again, roll with the punches and accept that whatever you're doing right now is going to lead you down a path and you're going to have to fork eventually. I mean, we established, like, you know, our YouTube channel, we want to do X, Y, and Z. It's been a couple months. I mean, how many times have we changed what we started?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
A thousand times. You know, and so to be able to grow and build upon and realize, like, this is working, this isn't, well, let's go with the things that's working, that's huge. You know what I'm saying?
And, you know, I saw a channel that even said, like, if you can make it to 200 videos, you've made it. Not necessarily because you're going to get monetized and it's going to work. It's because you've shown the dedication to actually put in the time at 200 videos that eventually, somewhere down the pipeline, you're probably going to find something that does make you money or does pay off. And so getting to those first 200 videos, that's tough.
That is tough.
It is way harder than you think, because you can fumble, mess your way around 100 videos.
Right.
And you can kind of roll down the hill and keep moving, but when you get to consistently post the 200 videos, it's way harder than I thought it was going to be.
It is, and the YouTube algorithm supports that, and it helps you get promoted as a YouTube channel more if you can consistently post to get to 200 videos or whatever the time domain is to get yourself there, and that just naturally kind of rolls if you can consistently do it. But you have to keep changing up what you do to get there.
Yeah, and you're looking at 2 years. 2 years. I mean, yeah, some people can get faster, and you can get some video to go viral, show your boobies on there or something. I don't know.
But got boobies.
Does YouTube like boobies?
I don't know. Can we say boobies on here?
We
said boobies.
Yeah. But anyways, I think that it's definitely something that you've got to be willing to do. Is that if you think it's only going to be fitness, or if you think it's only going to be financial, if you think it's only going to be this, be willing to change, be willing to adapt, be willing to change what you even know. We thought we'd be doing a lot more PT stuff right now. We haven't even opened up that can of worms yet, just because we haven't had time. It's like we only have so much time to shoot so many videos. And typically, if you're just starting, you're working a full-time job as well. Yeah,
exactly. So it makes it very challenging and very tough. But again, it's doable. If you want to put the time in and invest what you think is potentially, a viable option of doing some cool stuff, then yeah, you can definitely do that. All right, Colin, what are the top 3 best advice that you would give to a new YouTuber within the first couple months establishing their channel? Number 3, what do you got?
Number 3, I would say... Oh, that one's tough. But I would probably say you have to find a schedule. If you don't find some sort of schedule to actually work off of, even if it's written in the lightest pencil that you can easily erase and change and adapt, that's fine. But if you don't have some sort of schedule down for when you're going to put these videos out, how you're going to get these videos put out,
when you're going to film,
it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. You got to have a schedule. Number 2, what you thinking?
Number 2 would be, who is your audience? You have to know who you're making this video for. Who is going to watch this video? And why are they going to watch this video, of course?
Yes. And honestly, that's going to change a lot.
It's going to change.
But you have to have an audience.
And drum roll number 1.
The easiest one of all time. You simply have to start. If you don't start, and you don't start now, you're just wasting time. Joe and I have been talking about making this stupid channel for over a year.
Yeah.
And if we would have started over a year ago, then guess what? We'd already be a year in. This video would have happened over a year ago. But instead, we twiddled our thumbs, didn't want to put our money in, kind of backed away, then kind of got back on it.
Yep.
But
just got to do it.
You got to start.
Just got to start
now. You have to start. All right, guys. We appreciate you spending your Monday with us. So that is what we have today. We know it's a little different than what we usually talk about. But if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, why don't you go ahead and comment below? Or if you have a YouTube channel, why don't you comment below some of the problems you've ran into? Maybe we didn't talk about any of your problems that you've had. You got anything to add?
No, I think that's good. Yep.
All right, guys. We appreciate it. We will be with you next Monday. We're out.